Today I'll be taking class on parasitic adaptation of helminth parasites. What is adaptation? Adaptation is the fitness or the survival of an organism to the environment or the fitness of the organism to the host, in which it takes place over a generation with the morphogenetic changes and functional correlation, with the changes in the structure of its body and also sexually, and also with the correlation with the functional or function of the body. The parasitic adaptation. Helminth undergo various interesting adaptation, that is, it live inside the host to suck the nutrition and get its proper shelter from the host. So they have to adapt carefully. This adaptation is of two ways. Morphological adaptation, that is the change or the adaptation regarding their development or the structure of the body, and physiology, that is the functional anatomy or the process of digestion, circulation, etc. So parasitic adaptation in fasciola. The fasciola hepatica is common name known as liver fluke. It is the parasite which live inside the liver of a goat or sheep. This liver fluke has a great modification. They modify themselves, that is in their body structure and also in the functional anatomy or the physiological development, to live inside as endoparasite inside the liver and the bile duct of the sheep. Morphological adaptation involves its body is dorsoventrally flattened. It looks like a leaf shape with increased surface area of the body for increased diffusion of substance through the fluid of the body. So the shape of fasciola, this one is fasciola, is dorsoventrally flattened. It looks like a leaf. It has got the mouth, the oral sucker, where it sucks the nutrition from the host, the acetabulum or the posterior sucker, which make it attach or grab to the host so that it cannot be washed away or removed from the intestine. It make a hold fast to the host. So this worm absorb the nutrition from the host to the general to the anterior sucker. So the body covering, the body is covered with a thick cuticle which protect it from the host antitoxin. Since it is present inside the body of the host, so it has got a very thick cover or a cuticle cover, which is a thick tegumen. And this tegumen or a covering of the skin of the parasite is permeable to water and enzyme, but is not permeable or it resists to the parasite digestive or to the host digestive enzyme. If it is resistant to the host digestive enzyme, means it will not be digested along with the food. So it has that antitoxin which prevent itself from the host digestive enzyme, not to be digested by the host digestive enzyme. So here this is a tegumen. In tegumen, that is the lining of the body of the parasite. All this tegment, the outer lining or the ectoderm. This one, it has a pore canal where the living inside the host from the general surface also it can suck. So if you keep this through this pore canal, the nutrition enters inside the body. It has got these microvilli, okay, that is the which cover the membrane of the skin. This also help in increase more surface area for absorb the nutrients from the host. So inside this tegment, that is the lining of the body. It's got the mitochondria and the plasmic reticulum, and below the basement membrane. Then, okay, here in the basal membrane, there are circular and longitudinal muscles. So these circular and longitudinal muscles, they also help in the peristaltic movement, okay, inside the host body. That is, they adapt itself with the peristaltic contraction of the host intestine. Then below the basement membrane, these are the mesenchyme, that is filled with fluid in which the organs of the here mesenchyme, this region, they are fixed. So here the cuticle is secreted by mesenchymal cell situated below muscle layer. Okay, so this cuticle, the outermost layer of the skin which is thick, okay, so is secreted by this mesenchyme. So this cuticle secreting cell were believed to be sunken epidermal cell, and the mesenchyme help in transport of nutrients and waste substances. This mesenchyme also help in transport of waste and nutrients to whole part of the body. Okay, the mesenchyme filled with fluid. So this when it suck the nutrients from the oral sucker and also from the general surface of the body, since it is covered with the cuticle, this cuticle whole thing thick integument which produce antitoxin from the is permeable to all water, ions, etc., but is not permeable to the digestive enzyme, because if the tegment is permeable to the digestive enzyme of the host, since its presence in the liver of the host, so it will naturally be digested. Okay, so it has the antitoxin property which help itself to be not to be digested by the host. So its mouth is situated anteriorly and muscular pharynx serve for sucking the nutrients. So you'll see the mouth, okay, it is muscular and this pharynx, and then connected to the pharynx which is surrounded by muscular pharynx or muscular glands, and then since it helps in sucking the nutrients from the host body, since it feeds on pre-digested and digested substance of the host, hence its alimentary canal is not well developed and digestive gland is not found. So you'll see here this mouth is connected to the pharynx which is muscular and help this mouth to suck the nutrition with the help of this oral sucker. They stick to the host. Okay, so here, so this pharynx, since is connected to this intestine, This is known as sicca or diverticula, which spread both sides of the body. So they do not have the proper digestive system or complete digestive system. Since it is present in the host, so it get its ready-made food from the host, so they do not have a proper alimentary canal or a digestive system or any digestive glands to digest the food, because they get the food which is pre-digested from the host. So they have got the excretory pore on the base, in which the waste coming out from this excretory pore. So Windows and then, since the process of digestion does not occur, anus also is absent, and hence circulatory system is wanting, meaning they do not have a proper digestive system or proper circulatory system. Anus is absent, and then the alimentary canal, the intestine and its various branches distribute the digested food to different part of the body. Okay, so in this way they have the digestive intestinal lymph, and then these are in sicca or diverticula, so they distribute food to these sicca or diverticula to all part of the body. And with the mesenchyme, okay, have an excretion and also circulation, the middle part of the body. So since it lives in an environment inside the body, so it devoid of oxygen, hence respiration is anaerobic, that is without oxygen. So they do not have a respiratory organ, because they get easily the oxygen from the host body, and then it convert them, it respire anaerobic, that is glycogen is metabolized to carbon dioxide and fatty acids, releasing energy in the form of heat. Okay, so the process is completed in the following step. The glycogen undergo anaerobic glycolysis to form pyruvic acid, and the pyruvic acid is decarboxylated to form carbon dioxide and acetyl-CoA. So the acetyl group then combine with coenzyme A to form acetyl coenzyme A. And this acetyl coenzyme A is then finally condensed and reduced to fatty acids. Okay, meaning here in anaerobic respiration, so the oxidation of food takes place by the process of glycolysis. So during glycolysis, the the carbon dioxide is removed and the food is being utilized in the form of or stored in the form of glycogen. So the neurosecretory sensory system. So neurosensory system, its nervous system is very simple. They do not have the sense organ because they do not have to go elsewhere in search of food, since they present inside the host body, so they do not need to go for searching food. Food is ready made, so they do not have any proper nervous system. So nervous system is simple. So this is the oral sucker, this is the muscular pharynx, and you'll see these are the cerebral ganglion, a nervous or a tuft of nerve or a connective nerve. So they have the lateral nerve cord, this is the ventral nerve cord, and these are the dorsal nerve cord. This in the lateral nerve cord is a little bit well developed than the other. So this is the gonopore and this is the acetabulum or the posterior sucker where it adheres to the body of the host. Okay, then the excretory system. So meaning the sense organ is not well developed. They do not have either a proper, the brain is not well developed. So excretory system consists of a complicated arrangement of branches, tubules, so as to facilitate the collection of various metabolic excretory waste of the body. So you'll see this is the excretory system. So here this is the main longitudinal excretory canal which connects to the excretory pore, and these are the phlegm cells. They are connected to a capillary tube or capillary duct. These are capillary duct. These are the round one is the phlegm cells. So these capillary duct, they connect to the excretory canal, and this excretory canal connect to the main longitudinal excretory canal, and these branches of excretory canal with the capillary duct, the phlegm cells, capillary duct, the excretory canal, and join into the main longitudinal excretory canal, and then these see the structure of one of these phlegm cells. The phlegm cells, these phlegm cells, supposed to be modified mesenchymal cell. They are numerous, irregular in shape, bulb-like, distributed in the mesenchyme. Mesenchyme means the middle layer of the body. This is the mesenchyme. And the distribution pattern of the phlegm cells follow a specific pattern referred to as phlegm cell pattern. So these phlegm cells, they has got a pseudopodial, see these are known as a basal granules in which the cilia arises, and these cilia, they move like the flame. I think so, flame, So this is a cell membrane, and each of has a thin elastic wall. This elastic wall, these are the elastic wall with a pseudopodial-like process. It has got a nucleus and intracellular cavity having a long cilia. Intracellular cavity having a long cilia, which flickering, and these cilia vibrate like flickering of a flame, hence the name flame cells. Each of these, the structure of these under the microscope, electron microscope. So these structure of flame cells. So with the movement of these cilia, as if they draw all the waste from the body, they draw the waste from this mesenchyme layer from the middle part of the body, they absorb it into these capillary duct, and then the waste enter into the excretory canal from all these sides, and then the waste come into the main longitudinal excretory canal, and the waste is excreted out through the excretory pore. So locomotory organ. The locomotory organ are not found as fluke lead a well protected life. Okay, so they do not have any proper locomotory organ. A proper locomotory organ like flagella or the cilia will innervate the outer part of the body. There is no proper locomotory organ because you do not have to move from one place to another. Okay, only the cilia is present intracellularly inside these phloem cells to extract the waste from the mesenchyme or body layer. So since the adult fluke live in the body of a sheep, in the liver of a sheep, hence it may die with the death of the sheep. So suppose if the sheep die, then the liver fluke also will die inside. But due to this, that's why it needs a secondary host, that is to complete the life cycle. So the secondary host here, so the parasite during the larval stage, it developed inside the body of a snail. So snail is regarded as a secondary host. So this fasciola is a hermaphrodite. We'll see here, this is the oral sucker, come to the reproductive system. The genital pore is the opening in which this is the opening of the female genital aperture, and here is a male. So this female genital aperture is connected to the uterus. Okay, so uterus, and this uterus is connected to the oviduct. This oviduct opens into a yolk reservoir which is surrounded by a Meles gland. Okay, and these Meles gland are connected to a transverse white line duct. So this transverse white line duct is connected to the transverse white line duct, the lateral longitudinal white line duct on both sides. These lateral white line duct is connected to these white line gland. So these lateral white line duct from both sides, they connect with the help of a transverse white line duct, and then on the upper side they join together. Okay, they join together to form the ootype. They form together to form the yolk reservoir. So okay, this yolk reservoir. So here will come first the female reproductive system. So here the testis is situated posteriorly, whereas the ovary is anterior. You'll see here only a single ovary is present, which is highly branched and is situated on the anterior side than this testis. So this ovary is present anterior to third of the body, is connected to the open into the Laura canal. This Laura canal, it acts as a vagina in which this cirrus or a penis is inserted in this Laura canal of another fasciola or another liver fluke, to insert the sperm and spermatozoa to make the egg coming out from this ovary to be fertilized and stored in the uterus. So this oviduct is connected, the ovary is connected to the oviduct. The oviduct, they are branch, narrow tube, and then travel obliquely and open into the median white line duct. This is a median white line duct. This one is a median white line duct. Okay, so this median white line duct, it connects to the uterus. So uterus, they are white convoluted, having the fertilized shell egg. These are the egg or a capsule. And then the uterus open by the female aperture into the common genital atrium. See, it open into the female genital aperture and open into the genital atrium. So these white line glands, which are located on the sides, they are known as the lateral longitudinal white line glands. So the white line glands, these white line glands or a yolk gland, they produce albuminous yolk or shell. Okay. Albuminous yolk or shell material for the egg. So the white line gland open by a minute duct. Okay, this is a minute duct. They open through these minute duct into a longitudinal white line duct. Okay, they have the shell gland here. They have the shell gland as well as they produce albumin to the yolk. Okay, so they open into the longitudinal white line duct, and this white line duct, they connected by a transverse white line duct and then two longitudinal white line duct, this and this. They join through a transverse white line duct, and this transverse white line duct is swollen in the center to form the yolk reservoir or a white line reservoir and start moving forward to join to the oviduct. Okay, so this Meles glands, these Meles gland, which is present around the yolk reservoir, it provide yolk to this ovary or the egg which come, the ovum which come from the ovary. It provide yolk, and also it lubricate the passage of the egg into the uterus. It lubricate the passage of the egg, of this egg into the uterus. Okay, when this egg which is developed in the ovary, the ovum, this yolk or reservoir, it provide, it allow or make having a yolk, it lubricate a passage to the uterus. Then we'll come to the male reproductive system. So the male reproductive system, it consists of the vas deferens. This is the vas deferens. It connected to the testes. This testis is present on the posterior part. And the testes are two in number. They are placed one behind the other. This testis. And then the occupy the posterior space, and then they are connected to these vas deferens. Connected to this vas deferens. So the vas deferens from both sides. They unite and run forward. Okay, these are known also the vas deferens of sperm duct. They unite to form a seminal receptacle. So this they become dilate and muscular seminal receptacle, and it serves as a purpose to store the sperm. It serves as a purpose to store the sperm. Then this seminal receptacle, it acts as a place for storing of sperm. Then this seminal receptacle, it proceeds upwards to form the ejaculatory duct and connect to a cirrus or a penis. This ejaculatory duct continues anteriorly to become a coil duct, this one. And the cirrus or penis, this one, is muscular elongated structure to which this ejaculatory duct open, and this cirrus, it opened by a male genital aperture. This is a male genital aperture here into this common genital atrium. This common genital atrium, it open to the outside of the body. Outside of the body. Then this prostrate gland, these are the glands. The ejaculatory duct is surrounded by this prostrate gland. This prostrate gland, it secretes an alkaline secretion which help in the movement of sperm during copulation. Okay, so this testis, it produce sperm and is moved to ejaculatory duct and stored here, and this sperm or is coming out through these genital these female genital aperture, and self-fertilization, it can enter into this, is inserted. Okay, or either this serous sac of this, the penis of this will insert into the lower canal of another and insert sperm. So this prostrate gland, it helps in produce alkaline structure or alkaline substances for the free movement of sperm during copulation with another parasite. Okay, so this penis come out and insert into the lower canal of another fasciola. Okay, then it allows the sperm to come out. So this prostate gland during copulation, it ejaculates the sperm from here and help in the free movement of sperm. So the genital atrium, this one, is a common chamber for both the female genital aperture and the male genital aperture. Is lying above the acetabulum. This acetabulum, that is a posterior sucker, and this cirrus can be everted through the gonopore during copulation. A cirrus or penis can invert it out through this common genital atrium during copulation. Okay, with another fasciola. So cross-fertilization is also found with hermaphroditism for the confirmation of fertilization. So in some helminth like Taenia solium, body segment possess male and female reproductive organ, and uterus highly branch after storing the fertilized eggs. That will come later on to the Taenia solium. So here in fasciola, I have told you that we have talked about the testis, the serous, the prostate gland, the female reproductive system, the Meles gland, the Laura canal. Okay. So now I'll come to the uh, this this part is not included. Okay, so I have already cancelled. So now I'll come to the adaptation in life history. So the various parasitic features in the life history of fasciola is production of enormous number of eggs to overcome their wastage during transfer. Okay, so the egg are to pass down the bile duct into the intestine of sheep and then outside with the feces. Hence, the fertilized eggs are enclosed in a chitinous covering, the shell, which protect the zygote from the enzyme of the host. The shell egg, they are called as capsule. So here, not only the morphological and physiological adaptation, but also we'll come to the adaptation in life cycle or history of this parasite. So the egg of this parasite, okay, this fertilized egg which is present in the uterus, so this it will come out through this bile duct, the fertilized egg, meaning after the okay, this fertilized eggs after it's being fertilized by the sperm. Okay, so suppose the serous sac of another worm introduced here, the sperm will introduce here, it will meet with the egg, and then the fertilized egg, that is the eggs which uh, have been fertilized by the sperm, is stored here in the uterus. These fertilized eggs, they will come out through the gonopore and then through the liver, bile duct, through the intestine of the host, and then the host will pass the excreta, and then it will infect another host or secondary host. That is a snail. We'll come to that later on. So here we will see even there is the adaptation and life history. The egg, which is fertilized eggs, is enclose itself with the eggshell or capsule so that it's not being digested by the bile, okay, bile juice of the host. So miracidium, okay, we'll come to this miracidium. What is miracidium? So this is the liver fluid will come out through the excreta, and this is the fecal pellets containing the egg. So eggshell containing, see, the egg is surrounded by an eggshell. Okay, so this eggshell, the parasite develop, or the egg undergo cleavage, they will develop into the miracidia. Okay, so still that is a parasite, or the, the egg, fertilized egg, it will develop into miracidia. So this miracidia in a parasitic adaptation, they are the first larva to come out of the capsule, the egg capsule. Miracidia, they are well adapted to lead a free swimming life. Okay, uh, this miracidia larva, They adapted to be a free-living life. It has ciliated body. It helps in swimming. It has got eye spot, and also for entering into the body of the secondary host, and also penetration gland help them to enter into the snail body. Okay, so here these fertilized eggs, it will give rise to the hatch, and then it will produce the miracidium. This is the first larval stage or a free swimming stage. It swim in water. See, there's the water, pastule in the water. So this miracidia, they have got a penetration gland in which it can penetrate inside the body of the host, of the secondary host, that is a snail. So they have got this miracidia, they have got the um, penetration gland, which is present here in the pharynx or the mouth part. You penetrate into the body of the host, okay, or the apical gland. Then so this process, it lead a parasitic life. The body is covered in a cells-like structure to protect it from the digestive gland of the snail. So this germ ball in sporocysts give rise to radia, which may be further produce in large number of daughter radia or a cercaria. So you'll see here, after this radia or a free meracidium first stage larva, it will penetrate into the snail body. Since the body of a snail is soft, so it penetrates through the pulmonary aperture of the snail, and then it develops inside the snail into a sporocyst radia or sporocyst stage. So inside this process, it forms another stage of larva, which is known as a radia. So naming here, so in order to increase its generation, it produces a large number of radia inside the sporocyst, which look as a germ ball, and also a daughter radia or a cercaria. Okay, it protects itself, see, it covers itself inside the cyst or a covering so as to protect itself from the host digestive enzyme, that is from the digestion of the host enzyme of the snail. Protect itself. So next, the cercaria find a way out of the body of the snail and lead into a very short free living, and then enclose in a cyst secrete them into a vegetation. So the cyst cercaria called metacercaria on vegetation make sure their entry in the sheep body to the herbivorous habit of the sheep. Okay, so here you will see that this process, the radia and cercaria develop inside the radia, okay, develop inside the body of a inside the sporocyst, and this radia, they will later form these each of these radia which inside the sporocyst, they will develop into a cercaria. So this cercaria stage, okay, so it looked like a small or miniature fasciola where it has got the mouth, then the oral sucker, then the digestive diverticula has got acetabulum, has got a tail for movement and find its way out of the body of the snail. So that is the adaptation, to adapt itself to move out of the host to find a way into another host. So this cercaria, it has got these flame cells or which help to absorb the waste from the body. Okay, and then the cercaria, it has the two sucker, the oral and the ventral intestinal cica, and then the pharynx or esophagus, okay, bifurcate to form digestive diverticula. That is these phloem cell for excretion. And then the reproductive system is rudimentary and has got the tail. So this is a stage where it is active, known as cercaria. It comes out, and is also known as the infective stage. Okay, so uh, so this cercaria escape from the birth pore of the radia. Okay, it escaped from the radia, and then migrate into the digestive gland of the snail, and then into the pulmonary sac, and then escape into the water. Okay, goes into the digestive system and then come again into the pulmonary sac, and then it escape into the outside of the water. So this is a free living cercaria. So a free living cercaria. So this lattice cercaria, it also loses its tail and then covered with a cyst and attached to the grass or a leaf known as metacercaria. So this metacercaria, when the sheep again comes and eat this, which is infective stage, so this metacercaria will go inside the mouth, then go into the intestine, then it later goes into the liver, and then become adult fasciola. Okay, adult fasciola. Both male and female, it is hermaphrodite, develop inside the body of the host. That is metacercaria inside the body of the host, the adult, and then copulation between male and genital, that is a cirrus of male, the penis, with the lower kernel of another female, or sometimes it may be inserted into the genital pore of another female, and then the fertilization will take place, and then these fertilized egg will come out through the main genital atrium of the parasite and then come out through the feces. Okay. So that is the Metacercariaceae can live for a longer period waiting for entry into the sheep body as they are well protected and insist to overcome the climate. So mode of parthenogenetic reproduction of larvae for the ensure the continuity of the race. Okay, so this mode of parthenogenetic reproduction, okay, that is the reproduction which takes place in the see that is since it is hermaphrodite, the reproduction will take place between both the male and the female reproductive organ, that is the sperm will come out from the male and the female will produce ovary, so fertilization inside the host body. Okay, so further a continuity of the race, so there will be However, a high rate of reproduction, adaptation of larvae, sexual, asexual mode of reproduction, adaptation in the morphology and physiology of fluid are to ensure the survival of continuity of the race. So the number of eggs also, and the number of larvae, and the number of adults ensure themselves to be protected within the primary host and the secondary host. There's a primary host, that is a sheep, and secondary host as the primary host is a snail and secondary host is a sheep. So the larval stage will develop itself in during the egg will develop into miracidia, freely swimming in water. Miracidia will find a way to the snail. It penetrate the snail body and develop into the radia, and develop into the sporosis stage. So the sporosis will form the radia, and then this radia will produce cercaria. The cercaria, having its tail, it will come out of the body of the snail, and then it develop into a metacercaria. That metacercaria also, it protect itself from the by forming of cysts covering the body, and then it protect itself from the harmful effect of the environment. So it attached to the leaf, and when the sheep comes, eat, and the adult form inside the body of the sheep.